And welcome into Getting Help from Uncle Sam. My guest today has been in the state legislature since 2018. Prior to that, for 10 years, you were a probate judge in Pike County.
Yes, sir.
Your district now is Dale and Pike County.
Yes, sir.
In the legislature. But more importantly, you are going to be in the runoff on June 21st
Right.
for Secretary of State.
Yes, sir.
This is Wes Allen.
Hey.
Very important to say that so they know who
That's
you
right.
are. But this is Wes Allen, and it'll be Supit on there also. But Wes, you are running for the Secretary of State's job. You know, a good friend of ours was Reese McKinney.
Right.
When he was probate judge, I knew everything that a probate judge did. Secretary of State, it's just a larger scale, isn't it?
Right. You're right. Over the whole state, obviously.
Yes.
It's the chief elections official for the whole state. And as you know, the probate judge in every county is the chief
Yes.
administrator for your elections in every county. And so we've got a lot of experience in that during my days as probate judge in Pike County. And of course, I love Judge McKinney and worked for him for a long time, and love Reese.
And of course, you know, it's not just the elections. There's a slew of paperwork. Just about anything official in the state of Alabama comes through your office.
Right.
Or that office.
Correct.
Yes.
And it just like the experience comes in with elections, it comes into as being a former probate judge. And as you know, the vital documents are where it's stored in the probate office. So when your deed or mortgage gets recorded in the probate office, that's the probate judge is the caretaker. And so that's where you first start seeing economic development start. So when those title attorneys and title researchers go into research to sell land, that's where you first see economic development start. And on a much larger scale, that's what you see in the Secretary of State's office as well. So we've got to protect those vital documents and got to make sure we take care of customers.
It has to be done fast.
Correct.
And of course, one important thing is if the governor of the state of Alabama makes any kind of a proclamation, it's not official until the Secretary of State puts the stamp on it.
Well, the Secretary
So
of
you
State,
are the notary. You're the notary
Exactly
public for
right.
the state of Alabama.
Exactly right.
Anything that pertains to the state of Alabama.
The personal notary for the governor.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
what the Secretary of State is.
So the runoff is in just a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, you've made it to the runoff.
sir.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that.
Thank you.
And obviously, you're going to let our viewers know that you're looking for a job,
Right.
and we need to let our viewers know, why are you best qualified for this job?
Well, we go back to experience, passion, and energy. And during my time as a probate judge in Pike County, it's about taking care of people, you know. And everybody that walked in that courthouse may not have been my customer in the probate office, but we wanted to make sure their issue got taken care of. So we may have pointed them in a different direction, but we wanted to take care of that customer and that taxpayer. And so I'll take that experience and take that philosophy to the Office of Secretary of State. But we administered many, many elections as a former probate judge.
18 of them altogether.
Yes,
right.
sir. That's very, very important that you've got somebody in that office on day one that understands what elections is all about. And that so when a probate judge calls me up, if I'm Secretary of State, I'll understand what the question they have.
You can talk to each other.
Exactly right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly right.
And of course, our viewers know, because my viewers are older people, we treasure our vote.
Ain't no doubt.
100% of the people watching this show are going to vote, but they want to make sure that it's done right.
Yes.
And of course, even in the legislature, you've enacted some laws or sponsored some bills to make more things the way they need to be from elections. You want to let us
Sure,
know
I'd be
about
glad
it?
to. Thank you for
Curbside?
that. Yes,
Yep.
sir. Last year I introduced and passed the bill to ban curbside voting. You know, your viewers may remember that issue back in 2020
Right,
during the
right.
presidential election and all
Absolutely.
of that. So we took care of that, and Governor signed that into law last year. So curbside voting is that issue we heard about in 2020. Let's just imagine that this is the precinct. If that ballot walks out the door and goes to the curb and goes to the car, the secret ballot is really over. There is no more secret ballot. And two, we want to make sure we protect the chain of custody for our ballots, because we saw in 2020 in other states the chaos and confusion around the country that went on with that election. So we want to protect our ballots, protect our secret ballots, and the chain of custody of our ballots. And the second piece of legislation that I introduced and passed was the bill to ban the private use of that Zuckerberg money that some people may have heard about, that he used to put in local jurisdictions around the country to influence elections as far as the administration, the running of our elections. So that means no private money purchasing our election equipment, no private money purchasing our ballots, and no private money paying the salaries of our election officials like probate judges and board of registrars and those individuals. Yes, sir.
And of course, voting ID. Right now in the state of Alabama, I'm going to kudos to John Merrill, just about everybody in the state of Alabama. If you want to vote, he'll come to your house and get you
Right, and
registered.
we'll continue with that.
And I know that, but
Right.
it's so important.
It is. We've
People-
got to have photo
They
identification.
need to understand that. And the other thing too is there needs to be a voting, and I know the Secretary of State can't make this happen, but there needs to be a voting day,
Right.
not a voting month or 6 weeks.
Right.
So
Yes,
that's,
sir.
you have to keep it tight.
Yes, sir, we do. Listen, I believe in election day, not election month, like you just talked about. I don't believe in drop boxes. I don't believe in mass mail voting. I don't believe in those things that will loosen up our election laws. We want just order on election day. We don't want the chaos and confusion we saw in those other states around the country back in 2020. We just want order, and we want every legal vote to count.
Okay, if our viewers want to get a hold of you for any reason, and we'll put it up, super it on the
Sure.
screen here, how do they get a hold of you to find out more information before they cast that vote?
Right, so they can find me on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or they can find me at electwesallen.com, electwesallen.com.
And that's your site for the campaign?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any parting words?
Well, I just want to thank you for having me on,
Yes.
first of all. I've been married to my wife for 23 years this coming fall. We've got
Good.
2 children, Davis, who's a 20-year-old college junior, and I've got a high school senior that just graduated. She'll be going to the University of Alabama this fall. We're members of First Baptist Church in Troy. I met my wife at the University of Alabama, where I was a walk-on football player for Coach Stallings and Dubose, and Dabo Sweeney was my position coach as a wide receiver, and my wife was the head Crimsonette for the $1 Million Band. So
Goodness
I
gracious.
did well.
You sure did, all the way around, didn't you?
Right.
Well, thank you so much. Best of luck. Remember this, the election is on June the 21st. It's a Tuesday, the middle of summer. Tell your friends to get out and vote, because the first election was very light voter turnout, and a lot of times the runoff can be lighter, but it's most important that you cast that vote. And we'll be right back right after this.